Yeah. Alan, we got a real special edition today.
Yes, we do.
Yes, we do. We got to get ready to rock and roll, make this thing happen. Guys, if you're in your truck, make sure you turn this thing up because this one's going to be a good one.
Girls, too.
Oh, yeah, those ladies, too. Sorry, girls. Ladies and gentlemen. All right, let's keep going.
Not all of our listeners are in trucks. I mean, some of them are probably in a Bugatti.
Bugattis, Maserati.
Blowing down south of France, listening to the Small Business Safari.
So I just got pinged from a guy from Australia. It was a guy, not a lady. Sorry. So we are listening all over the globe, baby.
That's right.
All over the globe. And I let him know what I thought about the USA hockey team. And he said, I didn't even know they had Winter Olympics. I'm like, hey, you guys were there, brother. I was like, hey, we still loved it. Man, this episode is going to be fire. And I'm going to set this thing up. I started my business in 2008. In 2006, at the end, I said, I'm done. I'm out of here. I got to go. And Alan, you and I have talked about this a lot, and that I use the business plan process to figure out jobs or figure out which way I wanted to go with my career. And one of the first out of the bank things, and I just dropped a pun, that I was told was, hey, man, let's go start a community bank. You work at SunTrust. You know how to stitch banks together.
Because back then, de novo banks were all the rage,
They
right?
were all the rage.
Yeah.
You saw them here in Atlanta. We had the Atlanta Business Chronicle. They were opening. Two of the guys I worked with at SunTrust had gone to Atlantic Capital. So I knew a lot about the what was happening. But my job always at the bank was stitching them back together, right? Putting them in the back end, the process. I wasn't the banker. I wasn't the guy who would go out there, make the money, and bring the people in. And we started looking at it, and my buddy says, I am totally healed. We got this thing. And so we start talking to his family, which is pretty well healed here, big names. I won't use them on the pod. And we started looking at it, and then I started really getting into the banking business in 2007.
Does well healed mean buttloads of cash?
Yeah, that means buttloads of cash.
All right.
And so the beginning of 2007, and Bob, our guest, along with Beach, just gave me that look, and you're like, that's probably the wrong time to get in the banking business. I'm like, that's 100% right. So we put that one away and said, I'm off to something else. And well, shit, I'll just start a handyman business.
So that was a good decision.
I don't know if it was, but here we are 18 years later doing it.
We've recorded how many bad decisions you've made over the years.
I've made a shit ton of bad decisions, and we can all do that. But today we've got some great guests on. And we have Bob Koncerak, and we've got our buddy Steve Beecham back from Hometown Mortgage. He is the mayor of Alpharetta. I don't give a shit who says what about anything. This guy owns that city. What do you think about that, Bob?
Tell me when it's my turn to talk.
So,
cheers, fellas.
These guys are going to start their first community bank in Alpharetta, Georgia, since 2008. And this is 2026. Let's talk about that. This is going to be nuts. Bob, Steve, welcome. Let's go. Bob, what the hell are you guys doing?
Well, there are good ideas and good ideas at the time, so we're hoping this is a good idea. Back in 2008, when we opened Touchmark National Bank, Alpharetta was pretty much a bedroom community for Atlanta. If you look at it now, it's its own center of commerce. And so it's a tremendous opportunity. Not many of these are opened anymore. 20 years ago, there were 10,000 banks in the country. Now there's about 4,300.
So what happened? I mean, like I said, it was all the rage. It was almost like a fear of missing out. Like if you didn't get in on the ground floor of a de novo bank, you were a loser. And then all of a sudden, it just wasn't happening anymore. What happened?
Well,
the crash in 09.
Well, there was that.
The crash happened, evaporated a lot of talent, and then so many competitors for the traditional net margin banks. If all you're doing is lending and bringing in deposits, there's so many other platforms outside of the FDIC that you can do that now. So you can open a bank as long as you've got opportunities to bring in trust companies and mortgage companies and insurance companies or generate fees with SBA lending. But if you want a fantastic place to start, you may as well be in downtown Alpharetta.
All right. You want to go?
Yeah, no, go ahead. But, Alpharetta is, for our listeners in Tasmania and everywhere else around the world, I mean, you're right. It was a bedroom community. I mean, there wasn't much going on. And then it just exploded with an amazing town center. And then it's, it's kind of a high-tech hub right now. Isn't that right?
One of the coolest places in the country.
Yeah, yeah. And of course, you live walking distance, you dog to that. I'm just so jealous every time I go to your house. But yeah, no, it's, it's in the Golden Triangle north of Atlanta. And a lot is happening.
Oh, that's great. But here's the deal.
Yeah.
You got to.
I agree. Thank you, Alan.
Here's the deal. So
bad
if
question,
you're my
Alan.
wife and all you do is
Oh, shit.
QuickBooks, you're fine as you're not doing any banking. You're just doing processing, right? And so in the old days, the community banks really didn't have all of that high tech stuff from an IT standpoint. So a lot of people, as that started transitioning, would leave their community bank and go to a bigger bank. Well, now the community bank, because where we are with IT, they can do anything a big bank can. So we can do mobile banking and take a picture of your check and do all that stuff. So now community banks can compete on IT type stuff with big banks. And then what's happened is all these regional banks have bought up all these community banks after the crash in 2009, and some of them went out and some of them barely made it through. But the regular guy that's in business like we are, and you need to go borrow money for his pickup truck or his bulldozer, or he wants to remodel his restaurant, or he wants to add a new location or expand his office, he goes into one of these regional banks and they're like, here, dial the 1-800 number. So he doesn't know the guy anymore that he used to know at his local bank. And so being in the mortgage business, these people that are calling me and they're like, hey man, I need to go get a loan for X. Who do I call? And so they're really not sitting in the bank anymore like they used to. Most of these banks are like empty shells. Mm-hmm. And so I've been feeling this for a while. And so Bob and I are in the Rotary together, and we've been buddies for a while, and he's been in the banking business for a while. And I told him about, I don't know, I guess a year ago, I said, Bob, I think there's an opportunity for a community bank again. I think we're far enough along down the road that people have kind of forgotten the crash and maybe they understand it and they're willing to jump back in. And he goes, I do too. And then a couple of months later, he walks in and he goes, I got an idea. This is how we're going to do it. And
let's talk about this idea, because starting a bank is hard. And you've done it a couple times, right?
Yes, I have.
So you've been in it and you went, wow, I've done this. I'm going to do it again. Huh.
Go type in the most fun I never want to have again. That's the book I published after my last one. And the very last sentence in that book says, if I'm wrong, I'll title the book, I Thought I Was Done the Last Time. So I'm already collecting notes.
Nice. Yeah. So you put this together, you guys started talking about this, but again, the landscape, there was no appetite for a new community bank. There was no reason, although you guys saw a gap. So what did you see? What was the reason?
Well, let's start with this. I'll just pick up where Beach left off. I love the adage, product and price bring somebody in the door, but service and advice keeps them there. And so, yeah, he's right. We have all sorts of nifty technology that works just like anywhere else on the planet. But when you've got folks who are trying to do things, when you've got entrepreneurs who are trying to build a business, hey, I got to buy that. I got to lease that. I got to restructure that. How do I do that? When you've got lenders, when you've got folks with 20, 25 years of experience of helping people get stuff done, that turns out to be a gold mine for the community, because that's what a bank does. A bank brings in local deposits and lends that money back into its community to support the community. And so when you can take the time and advice to help somebody get stuff done to support their business, it just benefits the whole community. That's why they call it a community bank.
All right. So you guys had this idea a year ago.
Yeah.
Here we are now. You guys just launched, got everything.
We're in the middle of our capital raise right now.
Right now. So let's go back. You said, I got an idea. Yeah. I got an idea to start a bank a little bit different. Or I got a better way to do it.
Because we are both what's called a de novo, a new institution, and we're also merging. Okay. So this couldn't be more complicated and more clever, but it saves us a bunch of time and a bunch of money. We are acquiring by merger the smallest bank in the state of Georgia, little tiny Bank of Lumber City in Telfair County.
Lumber City, Telfair County. Hello, shout out.
Vidalia.
Okay. I was going to say, I don't know where Telfair County is.
Well, you're not a Georgian, are you then?
Yeah. How about you?
School this guy.
So what we're doing is we're going to acquire that bank, and then we're going to move the software and some of the customers and the technology into Alpharetta and drop it into an existing bank building. And so the business model is we're taking time off both ends of how long it takes to do this, and probably about $600,000 of expense. But when we open, we'll have a balance sheet of active loans and deposits with about $700,000 of tailwind. So we'll get the bank profitable a whole lot faster. The investors will do well, because I'm 64 and I tell folks I'm only going to get old once. And so if I'm doing this, everybody has to win. The shareholders have to win. The community has to win. The customers have to win. And this has come together in a combination. It's going to be a lot of fun for a lot of folks.
So you've done a couple years ago. I want to go back to this because what you're doing, when I heard that the night I went to the investor raise, I was like, wow, I don't want to do this because they're going to get big heads, but this is genius. I mean, because what people don't understand is that if we were going to start de novo, here we are, the four of us just sitting here shooting the shit saying, man, we're going to start a bank. How many months or years would it take for us to get this thing up, ratified, ready to go and start?
12 to 18.
And you guys have done it in?
Well, we filed our application in October, and if the angels come down from heaven, we'll open in the middle of April.
So that is, you just took 12 to 18 down to 6. I mean, you don't have to do the math.
We ain't open yet, okay, but we're close.
Yeah.
So you have a
guys
location then already?
Oh my gosh, yeah. Yeah. I was, after a Rotary Club meeting one day, Beach nudges me and says, come on, get in the car. I'm going to take you to your new bank building.
That doesn't sound like Beach at all.
Not at all.
So we get in the car, we drive to, if anybody on the planet who's familiar with downtown Alpharetta, at the corner of Academy and Main, the four corners of downtown Alpharetta, where it goes from North Main to South Main, there's a big old 2-story building that used to be a Georgia Federal, and then it was a closed Wells Fargo. And he took me in there with our commercial fella, and I said, this is over the moon. This is absolutely over the moon. But every bank that has ever put itself on the market, it can't be another bank for a certain period of time. Oh, no, didn't check on that. Give me 30 minutes. Came back. Oh, that contingency expired in May. We locked it down about 3 days later.
We were right there.
So right there. The timing was exquisite. So we are acquiring a bank, moving the software, and dropping it into an existing bank with safety deposit boxes and vaults and drive-through lanes. And so we're going to probably spend $200,000 to get the bank ready, where so many teams have to go find an architect, find a building, build it out, get it right.
And you said 200,000. So give us the number that you would have spent otherwise. Just ballpark.
Well, if you bought a building, you might spend $2, $3, $4 million.
Million. So you guys are all out 200 grand, and with a lease expense.
We are leasing. We're net leasing a building for 10 grand a month, which is a whole lot more preferably to me than taking $4.5 million and buying something from the 1980s.
Yeah.
So we'll open the bank, run it on the cheap, make some money, and our organizers will eventually design and build the headquarters we want to move into, and then we will lease it so we don't have a big old fat fixed asset on the balance sheet. For those of you who understand banking.
Right. Alan.
Why are you looking at me?
I don't know. I was just having fun with you. All right. But here we talk a lot of things. So handyman, low barrier of entry. Commercial real estate.
Even lower.
Lower barrier of entry. Being a mortgage broker.
Pretty low.
Starting a bank. That's pretty flipping high. Right? That's up there. That's up. And by the way, we have an audience today. Melissa, that's up. We're crazy up.
I'll tell you how that works. There aren't many people that do what I do. There are even fewer people that like to do what I do.
I bet there is. So, amen to that. I'll drink to that one. Oh my God! All right, so
So I got to ask you this: since the last time you opened a bank and today, the regulatory environment has just gotten extreme, from what I understand. So I remember when Beach told me we're opening a bank because people in business need to be able to get money, and they can't get money. But a lot of that, doesn't that have to do with the regulatory environment that's out there, or am I wrong about that?
No, I don't think so. As much as I don't think that's changed a lot, really. I mean, like I said, if you're a small entrepreneur and if you're a restaurant guy, let me put my eyes out. You're a restaurant guy.
We need to open that. What did we got there? Jimmy Red?
Jimmy Red from Charleston.
Jimmy Red from Charleston.
You know what? We're gonna come back to Beach.
No.
And then you want that Jimmy Red.
I want that Jimmy Red, but I want to hear what he's got to say here.
All right, then we're gonna talk about Jimmy Red after that.
I mean, I don't know. Bob maybe can speak to that, but I mean, it's still the same concept with mortgages or equity lines or any financing. You've got to show that you can cash flow the deal, right? Now there might have been in earlier days where you would have made a loan with somebody because there was a real heavy asset, or you knew his mama could pay if he didn't pay and he didn't co-sign. But today's market, since the crash, you still got to qualify. So if you qualify, we're going to make you the loan. That's the cool part.
Is that so? Back to banking and the way it worked. So I went to SunTrust to basically consolidate and to get to be a big bank that they become now, Truist. Mm-hmm. But I get to learn a lot about community banking and what small banking is. And Bob, it sounds like you've had that experience. A lot of us, the younger people, don't realize what community banks could have brought to us as a small business owner. I think today we just think big banks. Back when I was thinking about starting my bank, or starting my business rather, and looking at banks, I had SunTrust here, but then it was Bank of America, which I was on the merger wagon for, knew them, Wells Fargo. You start looking, they're all just in Citi. They're just these big banks. Right. What makes a community bank so much better? You guys have mentioned it a couple times, but I don't think people get today what they could be.
Let me give you a street level example. You call the bank's number during business hours and a real person answers the phone. Okay, that's the simplest, easiest way to distinguish a community bank from a big bank. You don't have to make an appointment to come in to see me. I'm astonished. I've got accounts at Chase. I wanted to open a joint checking account with my wife. I had to make an appointment 3 different times because when I showed up unannounced, they were surprised to see me. I walked into a bank branch and they were surprised to see, how can I help you? Why are you here? Do you have an appointment? I'm like, well, I need an appointment. Well,
they give you money?
Yeah, for me to open an account here and do business with you. And so big banks do a lot of wonderful things. The electronic banking, the capacity to move money around, all the bells and whistles, that's fine until you need to talk to somebody. Something went wrong. Somebody debited my account that shouldn't have debited my account. Can you help me figure out how to do this? As soon as you need to talk to a real live person, you're challenged because that's not how those banks are designed to work anymore.
Hiring the right people shouldn't feel overwhelming. At Smart Hire Solutions LLC, they take a smarter, more human approach to hiring. Smart Hire Solutions helps you get the right candidates, carefully vets, presents only the best fits for sales roles, lead technicians, key team members, in-home services, construction, and many more. No resume pile nightmares, no wasted time. Today's labor market is tough to navigate, and having the Smart Hire Solutions LLC team on board makes it smooth sailing. Founder Tina McKenna brings decades of real-world experience, not only in recruiting, but in marketing. She runs this thing like a business that's involved with you. Check out their fresh approach at yoursmarthire.com. That's yoursmarthire.com. Or connect with Tina McKenna on LinkedIn. That's Tina McKenna with Smart Hire Solutions, LLC, yoursmarthire.com. So the community bank, you guys would say your charter, what you guys are going for is going after the small business, the businessman who wants to have somebody who knows and understands their business and says, man, I believe in you, not only personally, taking the 5 C's of credit, figuring that thing out and doing that. And that's where you're going to be your differentiator.
And how about this? If you walk into the bank a couple of times a week, eventually somebody actually recognizes you and knows who you are.
Hey, Chris.
Hey, I need money. Alan? They won't like me after a while.
We told you no the last time, and you keep showing up.
I keep showing up.
How about that?
So you and Beach had this idea, right? We started floating this thing out. But again, we talked about the regulatory environment. Alan brought that up. Talked about the timeline to make it happen. But you guys, two of you has had an idea, and then you can put it together.
Well, then I called a meeting. I told Bob, I said, let me call a meeting with 20 people around town that are small business people and say, hey, what do y'all think? And so I called this meeting and 15 people showed up and we were in my little office and I said, hey, this is a crazy idea Bob and I have. We think the time's right. What do y'all think? And every one of them said, we're in. And we went, oh, okay, I guess we're going now.
So what were you hearing from them?
The same thing that the frustrations that everybody else is. I hate my bank. I don't know my banker. Just people are disappointed with the big banking piece. And it's mostly small business people because those people are having to go in. You got a dentist and he wants to go buy a new piece of equipment and it's $75,000, and he doesn't want to walk into one of the big banks and do a 1-800 number and nobody knows him. Once he develops a relationship with us, he walks in and we just give him the next machine. We may already have his tax returns on file. You're going to go see Johnny down there because Johnny's made you the last loan. Mm-hmm. So the average business person is going to love what we're doing. And what we think will happen is they'll send all of their friends. I got a buddy of mine, he's got 8 bulldozers and 6 dump trucks. He goes buy a dump truck, goes and buys a bulldozer. That's $100,000, $200,000. We want him to give us a call and say, hey, I want to buy another one. We've banked him before. We got his tax returns. We go, fine. We know the cash flow's there. Bam.
And how about this? Local decision making.
Yeah, that's the big one. That's what I was
decision making. Yeah.
So a lot of the big banks have gone to, and as I was leaving bank, and this is literally, I'm dating myself, Alan. I'm not as old as you, but I'm really close.
Thanks for pointing that out.
But when I was leaving the bank, we were actually moving credit decisioning overseas, where you wouldn't talk to anybody. Back to the 5 C's of credit. Why do people? Because people go, man, I got the money. Why didn't you give me the money? Why didn't you give me the money? Well, there's a lot of layers to it, right? But when you're looking at somebody eye to eye, like we are right now, and you go, well, Chris, I mean, this is why I'm not giving you the money. You're like, okay, I realized I started a handyman business. That was a little stupid.
Well, we want to help them do a workaround, right? If you come in there and we say, you know what, we can't do it now. It just doesn't work within the bucket or the forms that we, it's just not adding up. But here's what you need to do to go make this work.
I like that.
Yeah. Here's how, rather than just no,
Or call this.
rather than just saying no, under these conditions, I can do this. You might not like these conditions, okay? But here's how I can get this done for you. If that's attractive to you, because if you're a community bank, what is the community that you want to champion? And so if you have a defined area where you're trying to make stuff work, and look where we are. We're this northern knob. If you look at a map of Fulton County, there's a northern knob that used to be Milton County. That's our primary and secondary
I think
service
you need to
area.
use a different word than knob.
Yeah,
Knob. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry.
for us,
Apologies for
with
those of you. who are-
gutters in the mind. Thank you.
That's fine.
We do swear a lot on this podcast. I've actually kept it fucking clean this time, Beach, because Bob's here. I didn't want to make sure I didn't offend too
Don't
much.
care about Bob.
Okay. All right. How about this? It's all my fault, but I'm perfectly willing to be forgiven.
All right.
Okay. All right.
Oh,
So if we
You
attract,
went that one a little
Hey.
bit there, Chris.
hey,
okay, if we
I do
attract,
use that one.
if we attract 1.37% of the deposits in our primary service area in the next 3 years, we'll be gloriously successful.
All
In
right,
other words, if we accomplish being a drop in the ocean,
all right. So you just used a very, kind of. He just pulled that number out of his ass. I think 1.37.
Yep.
How the f
yeah.
did you come up with that one?
He's a banker.
Oh my God, dude!
but a whole lot of demographics go into defining can a community really absorb another bank? What are you going to go do? How are you going to support? Why do we need another bank? You justify that to the FDIC before they talk about giving you a charter.
All right, so you guys got your charter. You're doing all this now.
No. We are raising capital.
Okay.
$20 million from now, you can congratulate me.
All right.
Our offering circular is approved. We're raising capital to capitalize the bank.
All right.
And when we accomplish that, sometime in mid-April,
We're early in on this, so how can everybody get in on this? Tell us the link that they can go look at, because I've got it already.
What we would like to do is invite them to come to the bank so we can talk to them. They can meet the people at the bank, make sure it's something that they would love to invest in. And so we need investors. We got to raise $20 million.
So there's no link, because I got the
I
QR
got
code.
links. If they email me, I'll send them a link so
But,
they can go online and get our circuit.
Give us that email real quick, because I know. Go ahead and go.
Oh, I don't have it on.
Oh.
info at firstcitybankga.com.
Do it. info@firstcitybankga.com.
Now, how much time did you spend coming up with your bank name?
Well, in somebody's version of Greek, Alpharetta is First City. How about that?
Alpha.
How about that?
I wanted to name it Alpharetta Community Bank, and then some of the guys on the board said, that's a little too localized. We might want to be bigger at one time, So we
Oh, I hear you. They're big time in your beach.
they're big time.
You know who they're talking to.
Many times.
No, you are not little time.
I like First City.
Big time you on that. You know what? I'm going to go
I
talk
think
to
David Chatham big time me on that. I think that was his idea.
I love that.
So if you're going to go grow it, what I tell the proposed board is 3 years from now, we'll be a whole lot smarter than we are today.
That's right.
And so, will you want to go buy something? Will you want to go have a liquidity event? Gives people a chance to get some money back if they want to, double down. And so you have something here that you want to grow from a position of strength, help the community, bring in customers, have a real live good activity that you're championing your community. And then after 3 years, what do you want to go do with it?
I mean, this is, I love what they're doing. I mean, I think, I hate it when people say this, because when I put my business plan together, I put it in front of people, I had 9 out of 10 people tell me, home run, can't miss, handyman, going to kill it. I had one guy go, you might want to look at this a little bit harder.
He was a dumbass, though, wasn't he?
And that's what I told him. But you know what? He was the best advice I ever flipping got. Everybody goes,
Did you listen to it?
Of course not.
Yeah.
I mean, I tried to correct myself. Who am I kidding? No, I was the best. I was the smartest guy in the room. But no,
These guys make such a good team, though.
they do. And so that's what I wanted to get back to is that you guys have a great idea. You're doing this. Everybody's told you can't miss. Going to happen. You got Bob 3 times started a business, or 4 times started 5 times.
I mean, Bob looks at you with that stare, and you're like, okay, yes, sir.
Yeah, I know. I seriously, I was like, yeah. I was actually grabbing for my wallet right when he looked at me. I'm like,
Beach is like, he's getting the people together, and he's got the idea,
Yeah.
and then Bob
He's like,
gives you that.
Bob gives you that.
Stare.
Why haven't you invested yet? I'm like, well, I'm in my.
We're going to talk about that.
You're gonna regret this.
So, all right. So you guys do this, but it's fraught with risks, right? I mean, there's a reason that people haven't started community banks. It's a high barrier of entry. We were joking earlier, but it truly is, because you got to have a lot going for you. So talk about how you've mitigated the risks to be able to get yourself to where you want to go.
I'll tell you what, I could not be more humbled by the caliber of the people that want to join us. We've got folks with 15, 20, 25 years experience calling us, you got room for me. You got room for me.
Employees.
Because they've been commercial bankers up and down, 400 for the past 20 years. They've got tremendous books of business. They've got tremendous relationships, but they've been pulled up into larger and larger institutions where they've got less and less access to actually take care of their customers. And so we've got a good team of folks together that have tremendous experience in the market, that have done this before 2 or 3 different times, and they have the capacity to get it done. And banking is all about the people. It's all about the people.
So did you grow up in the banking business? I mean, let's go back a little bit. How'd you start?
I'll do this as quickly as I can.
All right, do it quick.
I'm from Pittsburgh. So I'm of a certain age.
You're a Yinzer.
And so I'm a Yinzer. And so I had to spend some time in the steel business. And so I did a bunch of stuff for a stainless steel company, that the old Jones and Laughlin Steel Corporation. Well, Mellon Bank was my lead bank. Good old Mellon Bank.
I do know Mellon.
Marty McGuinn, one of the chairs of Mellon, taught one of the capstone courses that I had at Duquesne going for my MBA. Several of us would go out for a beer after class. It was pretty cool to go out for a beer with the vice chairman of Mellon Bank. He knew who I was. He knew I used products at Mellon. So one night after drinking what was probably way too much, Marty looked at me and said, I need a controller for my capital markets group. You could do that. And I said, Marty, that doesn't sound like it's something you hire somebody off the street to go do. And he said, but you understand the products. So I tell people that for my evolution from steel into banking, alcohol was involved.
I love that.
So I spent a couple of years at Mellon, and I got recruited to be the
And I want to say, I applaud you for your interview technique. I've never done that, because that's exactly how I got hired at SunTrust. It's Sandra Jask looked at me and said, Chris, I want you to run commercial loan ops. I said, I'd never done that. She goes, I know.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
I didn't know she was interviewing me, but I was her consultant at the time. And he just said the same thing. It's amazing when you say something like that to somebody and they go, I see potential in you. So obviously he saw a lot in you.
Well, what he said was, nobody inside the bank who wants the job is really qualified for the job. All the people that want the job weren't afraid of them. But you understand the products, because I use the products. And they just wanted somebody to come upstairs to explain to them what the heck they were doing down there in capital markets.
All right, so you start in Pittsburgh, Yinzer, you do that thing, you go in. You went to the Mellon Bank?
Remember Wachovia before the first Union Wachovia merger?
I do.
I was the capital markets. I was recruited to Atlanta to be the capital markets CFO in 1999. That's how my family got to Atlanta. Girls were 11, 9, and 4.
All right, so you turned into big bank in 1999, and then you said, "I got back in my."
And back in the early 2000s, there was like people opening banks Atlanta all over the place, and so it was a cottage industry of new banks opening. And a buddy of mine, Bill Short, had been tugged to go form a bank called Touchmark National Bank. I was being pulled to go join a team over in Cobb County, and Bill and I got together, and he said, "Look," he said, "if I want to be the CEO, the first thing I need to do is find a CFO. Why don't we go figure this out? We're at least as smart as those guys." And that's how we ended up on the team with Touchmark.
So do you feel like it's a high margin of entry? Because Beach, Alan and I kind of joked about ourselves, but do you feel like it is a high barrier to entry?
20 years ago, there were 10,000 banks in the country. Okay. Today, there's about 4,300. If ever the skies have parted for regulators looking to establish and grow the number of banks in the country, it's right now. So there's a tremendous regulatory accommodation to go to do this. So the bar has been lowered a little bit, but that doesn't mean that it's easy to do because, again, you've got to attract the right people to know how to do it the right way.
Guys, I'm looking at you. We're going to do a little panel discussion. Beach, Alan, I'd say bullshit, man. This guy's just too smart for us because it is. He thinks it's low. I think it's high, but I'm dumb.
Well, I think he's right. The high part is right now is convincing people that that's a good idea, right? And so we're finding people are interested, which is kind of blowing me away. I mean, of all the crazy things I come up with, this one I came up with, and people were like, yeah, I like that. I think that's a good idea. And even the people that say, you know what, I financially can't do it right now, but I love the idea and I'll come bank with you. So I feel like the momentum in town and the willingness and desire of people to be a part of this process is pretty strong.
Alan, what do you say?
Still got to get a lot of people to write a lot of checks.
Alan, high barrier or low barrier? Because I think Bob makes it sound like it's low, like a handyman business. And I'm like, dude, it's right.
Bob could tell me to jump off a cliff and it'd be a good idea. And I think I would do it. I mean, so do you guys still need investors at this point?
Oh, yeah.
100%, right?
We are what's called a Reg D offering. So our target market is accredited investors, people who know what they're doing, or at least what is it? Self-identified. Mm-hmm. They're self-identified that they know what they're doing. They meet a couple of IRS thresholds. That's the whole idea.
Self-identified as a few things, but not that.
The whole idea is
definitely not an investor.
You understand why you want to take some money and go do this, and that is the target market. We can take a few non-accredited investors. Our minimum investment is $50,000. We've got folks investing up to $500,000.
So let's talk about this for a minute, because I love telling young people, I don't care what you're thinking, start a business, do it.
Yep,
you know what?
Absolutely.
We talk about this all the time. Small business safari.
Once you become entrepreneurial, you never feel comfortable working for somebody else again.
But you know what? Every once in a while, and I'm looking around the room here, got a bunch of old people sitting here talking, and we love talking to young people. But you know what? Having somebody who's done this, like you have, Bob, and having Beach, who knows everybody in Alpharetta, I mean, seriously, every fucking buddy. You know what? It's kind of cool to let young people, and when young people understand, they're like, hey, these guys kind of they're doing it. Look, you latch onto this thing. I mean, it might be a great opportunity. And I think that's what I think a lot of people miss as the small business grows, right? Is that you just got to find your niche.
Let me step in here. It's a business. It's an investment. If you're putting money in, you expect to get more money out. And so I'm satisfied we'll do that in the fullness of time. But I'm 64. I got 3 kids. There's a whole lot more of the next 2 generations than there are of me. And what I'm finding is more and more folks in their late 20s and their 30s, they're coming into financial institutions looking for financial advice. So one of the things that will distinguish us is, come on here, sit down. It's not just financial literacy, it's financial education. Let me help you understand, what your credit score is for. Did you know your credit score can determine whether or not you can get an apartment, how much you're going to pay for medical insurance, whether or not you can get a job? When you help people understand, hey, this is how the world works, and you light them up, you're teaching them to be good banking customers.
How about that, Alan?
We're going to set up a group of advisors, our advisory board, and one of the main ideas I want to do with that is bring in the people that, because I'll get a call like, hey, man, I'm thinking about opening another location, or I'm thinking about expanding or hiring somebody. And I want to use our advisory board of really rock star guys that have been there, done that, guys like us, for these people to come in. They may be our age, they may be younger, but sit down and throw that out, kind of like help them figure it out.
I love that.
That's missing.
I love that too. I mean, that's giving back. That's why when I talked to Alan 4.5 years ago, I was like, hey, look, I joked about it. I said, man, we're really smart after a couple of beers at the bar.
It was like 6.
It was about more than a couple. And we barely drove home.
It might take 6, but there ain't nothing that a beer can't fix.
That's right. He's from Pittsburgh. If I don't hear that, Yingling, oldest brewery in the U.S. But no, Beach, you hit on. I mean, that's why we're giving back. That's why we do this podcast, trying to help people get them up there. I mean, you guys have already done this. I mean, we talked about this. You listen to this podcast, you go to this stuff. You guys have escalated how quickly you can get to a community bank. You talked about giving back to younger people because, again, Bob, we're going to start this bank. Beach, you're going to start this bank, but you got to move it on to somebody else. It's going to happen.
Down the road,
if it works right.
But we want to create win-win situations. So it's kind of like, hey, I can go invest in this bank and I can be a customer of the bank. And in addition to that, I can refer my friends and family to the bank to help make my stock worth more money. Because what I learned about this that I didn't realize is that really if somebody came along and wanted to buy the bank, really what they're buying is your depositors, your customer base. They're not really buying your loans. They look at the loans and go, I just hope those don't go bad.
Right.
But if another bank is trying to come into our community and they're looking around the community and say, how do we get market share real quick? Well, what about that bank? They got a lot of people there. They got a lot of great customers. They got a lot of small business in that town. We would love to have that, and that drives the value. So to me, that's the cool thing about this is that it's a win-win-win-win. And then we can take this community bank and say, hey, we are part of the community. We want to be involved in the nonprofit stuff. We want to be involved with financial education. We want to be, we want to get out there and help these students get their account set and get them ready to go so they can go from high school to college to getting a job. We want to help you with your mom and your elderly father and help you with all that situation. And because now that you got to put them in a assisted living or something, you got to start putting your name on some of their accounts and stuff. So until you've been down that process, right, you don't really know what you need to do. So we see that as a holistic approach of trying to just really do all that stuff for our community. And at the same time, what that does is that drives value for your stock.
So the question I have, and I don't know anything about banking, but I know business, and you're David going against Goliath. And how does that work? Because the service is great, but when a lot of people are shopping for a loan, they're looking for the best rate. And you can, with your service, you can...
Like it. I sense it. I can feel it.
You know where I'm going.
I know where you
jump on it.
I got the answer.
Okay,
I got the
do
answer.
it.
Okay.
Go.
Okay.
And I want to go question
in
after
many
you.
cases, in many cases, I will not be the cheapest. Okay. But if you are an entrepreneur and you've got your own business and you don't show a whole lot of income on your tax return just because you're trying to build a house and I bank you. You can go to Truist, you can go to B of A, you can go anywhere you want to get a mortgage. However, if you want to get it done fast, come on in here, sit down. I'll give you your draws. I won't be the cheapest, but I'll help you get that. Your home will be built when you want to. We'll evaluate the draws, get you done, and we'll do all the construction financing. Then if you want to take it to Hometown Mortgage and blow it out to get permanent financing in place, I have helped you to do something that otherwise might have taken you twice the time to go do. So I'm banking you. I know you. I can get you done and then go do something else. I've added value.
I think you take the basic entrepreneur, he just wants to know that he can do it.
Yep,
he's not totally rate sensitive. You get a guy that's a seasoned guy that's borrowing a lot of money, then he becomes a little bit more rate sensitive. He's just in that market.
Well, there's as long as you're in the ballpark, and if you're demonstrating all that value add, then I think a lot of the kinds of people that you probably want to attract will be willing to pay a little bit of a premium, I would assume, to get all that service and that advice and that guidance that you guys are going to provide.
Yeah. You bank with me? Hey, I'm driving to the auto dealership. I need to get a car for my daughter. She's leaving for school. Am I good? Yeah, you're good. The next question should not be, and what's my rate? The next question is, when can I get my check?
Mm-hmm.
Right. If you want to get stuff done, I can help you.
So you're talking about ease, convenience. Actually, and the other part is with community banks, local decision making.
Yep.
I mean, that's the hard part. I mean, I think
that's right.
A lot of times we shop rate, especially that's what we're.
It's hard
we're
to hide when my office is on the first floor. I should hide upstairs.
You should have.
No, and
I saw your office, by the way, and I know where I'm drumming in.
So, Chad and I in commercial real estate, we talk to a lot of bankers, and, we just say, look, we want an answer quick. I don't care if it's no. If it's no, tell us why, but just tell it. Don't drag out the pain. Don't put us through the funnel of pain and then find out it's no later. So to get a quick answer one way or another is super
But if
valuable.
you got a guy and he's building apartment complexes and he's on his 20th apartment complex, he's not dealing with us, right? But if you got a guy that's making some money and he sees a 12-unit apartment complex and it's his first one and he's trying to figure out, that's the guy.
No, and that's who we normally deal with. It's somebody, they want to buy a small strip center or something like
That's
that.
our
Wait
perfect
a minute.
customer.
Wait a minute. I got a couple of commercial lenders. Their borrowers and developers have been following them for 15, 20 years.
Well,
And so one of the reasons why it becomes easy is because you've helped me 8 different times before. Here's my next project. Can you help me now? And they and 2 of them, Eric Bobcat and Doug Fountain, they work with us.
yeah. I'm just thinking more of a bigger
Sure.
players.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
We're more for the
All right,
smaller middle guy.
let's pull out of the weeds for a minute. So you guys
want to
start
talk about the bourbon now?
no, not yet.
I do.
I want to talk.
I've never had anything that tasted quite like that.
Oh, then we're going to talk about your bourbon.
Red.
The Jimmy Red.
All right.
Beecham.
Jimmy Red.
What is the word you would use to describe Jimmy Red?
I can't put a finger on it. It's completely different than any other bourbon I've ever had.
All right, Beach. You brought in the. All right. So first of all, Beach, you have your own bourbon. We've had you back. If you haven't heard it, go back on the podcast. Steve Beecham. He is the first ever, 3rd time person coming on the podcast.
No.
Yeah, baby. You are the ultimate. So
Trying that back there?
he was the best. So we've had him on talking about his own bourbon. Let's talk about this Jimmy Red bourbon that we're talking about and taste.
So this guy in Charleston, High Wire Distillery, wants to start doing some old fashioned, throwback type of whiskeys. Here's about this moonshiner. This is a story that I've heard. Here's about this moonshiner in the Low Country. He goes out to the guy's house, knocks on the door. The lady comes to the door and he goes, "I hear that Jimmy makes the best moonshine around," or whatever. And she goes, "Well, he did, but he passed." And he goes, "Well, what made his moonshine so special?" And she said, "Well, he used Jimmy Redcorn." And he said, "Tell me about Jimmy Redcorn." He said, back in the plantation days, what happened is that the slaves couldn't steal the yellow and the white corn because everybody knew that's what they were eating. But they had the Indian corn, the blue and the red corn. That's what they fed to the animals. So the slaves would steal the blue and red corn, except it didn't taste very good. It was very tart. And so this one slave named Jimmy started trying to figure out how to sweeten up this particular corn. And so this guy's great grandfather was that guy. And so he said, "Well, where did you grow it?" And she said, we had acres of it out here in the backyard. And that's what he made his moonshine out of. It's got a unique taste because it's red. And so he said, "Well, how can I get an ear of it?" And she said, "Well, I saved 2 ears and we don't have it anymore." And he said, "Can I have an ear?" He took an ear, took it to University of South Carolina to the ag department, said, "Can we regrow this heirloom corn?" So they started regrowing this heirloom corn, and he made this whiskey, and people started loving it. And then now they go to Charleston, and they got Jimmy Redcorn grits, Jimmy Redcorn cornbread. It's
awesome.
Great.
It is everywhere.
So what's like
really?
about this is the only bourbon, or one of the few bourbons that I know. I only know of one other bourbon that is 100% corn. Because typically, what you do on a bourbon, you have about 70 to 80% corn, and then you put in malted barley.
Because it's got to be
wheat,
51, right?
It's got to be 51% corn to be bourbon, but this is all corn.
So to answer your question, it tastes like corn.
Do you have any questions remaining as to why I want to start a bank with this guy?
Yeah.
Anybody have any questions?
No, and that's why you guys are the perfect combination.
We're just getting started. No, we're just starting to wrap up. So, guys, we're talking about community banking and coming back to it, bringing it local, but you're starting a business, right?
Start a business.
100%.
Absolutely.
Bob, you've been at it for a ton. Beach, we've had you on forever. Let's give some advice to some people. I'm thinking about starting my own business. What are the things that you would say?
I'll tell you the best advice I got.
Yeah.
Carter Barrett, who opened a bank in Cumming at the same time we opened Touchmark back in 2008. I called him and I said, "Look, I'm putting this together. If I never talk to you again, give me your advice." And Carter said, "Here's what you need to do. You work on those financials. You work on those projections. You study your market. Don't you ask anybody to invest with you until you are satisfied that you Bob Koncerak are going to make a boatload of money by investing in this stock. And I'm thinking, that's unsettling to me. That sounds too personally. He said, get over it. Because he said, when you are satisfied that you will make a boatload of money,
then you can sell it.
You're going to put a whole lot of your money in it.
Gold nugget.
And nothing will satisfy another investor than knowing that you're in and you've got a big investment of your personal net worth.
100%.
I didn't like it. It's uncomfortable for me, but doggone, I said, Carter, you're right. And so, I'm putting 400 grand into this thing. And I've had several people come up to me and say, I'm doing what I'm doing because I see what you're doing. Everybody has to win.
I saw that too.
Everybody has
You
to.
did that night. I was like, man, dude,
It's a
this guy
bank.
believes it.
It's a bank. There's a whole lot of reasons why you start a bank, but at the end of the day, everybody wants to make money. You don't have to like it to accept it, but you wouldn't put money into it unless you thought you're going to be a whole lot better off afterwards.
All right, Beach.
I think people get into hobby businesses because they like it or whatever. I like remodeling, so I'm gonna get in the remodeling business. And a lot of times people get into a business and they never do the research to see if that business can actually be profitable. They got a little card shop, they got a little ladies' clothing store, they got a little shoe store, and they just end up being a manager for themselves and they never really make any money. I feel like the demand for what we're doing is super, super strong because everybody I'm talking to is telling me, I hate my bank. I don't like my bank. And they're telling me that I don't even know where to go to borrow money. I don't even know who to call. And they're frustrated. And so I feel like we're filling a gap in the marketplace for the average small to medium business person. And then I think we start picking up the other pieces too. And so, banking's not where people come in the bank all the time, but there's a lot of people that like to go in the bank. There's a lot of people that like to have those relationships, and that's kind of who we're going to be after.
Is that you, Alan? Do you like going to the bank?
I love going to the bank.
I fucking hate it. Because I don't like people, Alan. You know that. We're talking about that. All right, man. We're
not
finishing up.
true.
That's true. I love people. All right. Beach, we already had you on, Bob. I'm going to hit you with the final four. We're going to rapid fire. You ready? I know you can do
Rapid
it.
fire.
All right.
Good.
All right, ready? Give me a book that you would recommend to the small business adventure team.
Oh, Ken Langone's I Love Capitalism.
Oh my God.
That's a first one.
You're gonna start a lot of Alan. Oh my God. Beach, are you shitting me right now?
We're going to have lunch and learns. We're going to have lunch and learns.
I got my list over there. Write it down. Say it again.
Ken Langone's I Love Capitalism.
Oh my God.
Okay, if there
Actually,
would not
I
have
do
been
too.
a Ken Langone, there wouldn't be a Home Depot.
Yep.
That's right.
Okay, and so one of our organizers, Angie Bendix, she told me she came over at 4 years old in her father's arm from one of the Cuban boat lifts. Okay, if you see the beautiful Berkshire Hathaway building in downtown Alpharetta,
Next to Smoke Jack.
next to Smoke Shack,
God, I love
that's her.
That's her building.
She and her husband own 9 different orthopedic surgery centers, okay, across the Southeast, okay? And she was 4 years old when she came over in her father's arms. One day, she will stand in front of that group and tell her story. A couple of lenders came in the other day that Eric Bakat, our chief lending officer, has banked for 20 years. They came from Morocco. They started with nothing. Folks who've come to this country and have built things over and over and just come on and tell me your story.
Yep.
Ken
Amen.
Langone wrapped that up in I Love Capitalism more than anybody I've ever known.
There we go.
I don't even want the answers to the other 3 questions.
I do. You're getting it, man.
We're done now?
That's amazing.
Bob, I want to know what's the favorite feature of your own home?
My favorite feature of my own home is my easy chair because I could put my feet up and read my Wall Street Journal and my Financial Times and fall asleep.
You still read the paper?
You got the literal paper.
I'm 64 years old. I like my paper. Leave me alone.
Crack
All right.
paper, fold the
Get
paper.
get off my lawn, you kids. This is a lazy boy.
No, it's a Thomaston.
Oh, nice, Thomas.
Yes.
North Carolina. All right, let's go. So Ellen and I have not talked much about customer service, but you guys clearly in the customer service business. We're kind of customer service
Freaks.
Yep.
What's a customer service pet peeve of yours when you're the customer?
When I call your business during opening hours, I want to talk to a real person.
Very
If
simple.
I'm calling you, I'm not looking for our option to change. Please pay attention. I want to talk to somebody.
So I should probably
Okay,
roll back my
you
AI.
know what my name is? You know what my name is? My name is Representative. If you want to yell representative,
I do.
that's me. I'm Mr. Representative.
Melissa's over there high-fiving that one. She's up there going, yeah. I mean, I can't hit that pound
Okay,
button.
one more.
of
You got one
fucking
more.
no.
You said there's one more. What's the last question?
Are you ready?
Yes.
I want a DIY nightmare story. I want blood. I want fire. I want flooding. Only but you did, because I've done a lot of work in my houses, and you're staring at an opening right there that I put a nail through my own foot to put in.
So my DIY nightmare. My DIY nightmare would be that I decided to put my own fiberglass insulation in my own home. And I didn't have a great big SUV. I didn't have them deliver it on a pallet. I just went out there to Home Depot and bought it like 6 coils at a time and put it in the back of my Avalon. And so my nightmare story is, I spent about 6 hours vacuuming out all the fiberglass. However, my electric bills were cut in half.
But
That's all I can tell you.
so that's your great weekend story.
That's as bad as it gets.
Did you itch? Did you itch?
Oh, hell yeah, you did. And I snipped. I mean, as a guy who was in, I actually had to go Beach. I'll tell you the story.
Is that as bad as it gets? Is that as bad as it gets?
No.
Oh, dude,
no,
I've
we've
done
had
everything.
Yes, you
You
do.
gotta have one.
Look at these hands.
emergency response.
Yeah, I've had. I mean, I put my hand. I mean, that hand has seen so many nails go through it. You can't even count it, because that's my hand clamp.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
So yeah, but I was up in insulation. It was so bad that I actually thought I was going down, and they put me on a stress test. I had to go. They had to check my heart first.
Wow.
And we figured out that Chris going in addicts is not going to happen anymore. So I had to get out of it. So
What, you were sucking in the glass, or what was the deal?
well, I wouldn't go up there with I wouldn't put a mask on. I'm not some wussy man. I'm a big man. I'm a tough guy.
You're a dumbass.
I was a dumbass. I'm done with that. So we're out here, guys. If you didn't learn something, this is about starting a community bank. Go bank with a community banker. Let's find out where these guys are from. Hey, you might
Info.
want to bank from these guys. Let's go.
Info at firstcitybankga.com.
You're going to get some money out of Australia. I promise.
I promise
Send
you.
it on. We need it. We like their money.
We like their money. Their money
We
translates
need
good.
the money because the
Beach.
bank's got the money.
Beach, Bob, this has been amazing. Thanks again,
Thank you,
guys,
guys.
for being on. Hey, guys, if you didn't learn something today, that's on you, because we learned a lot today.
Yeah,
Did
this
we
is
not?
awesome. Yeah.
This has been great. We learned that Jimmy Red's at all corn.
All cold.
Awesome.
It tastes like
Yes.
It is
It's
good.
so good.
All right, guys, we got to get out of here. We're going to make it happen. Keep driving. Keep mowing up that mountaintop. We got to get home. We got to go.
Cheers, everybody.
Bye.
Yay.